Welcome back everybody to the WRESTLEDUDE YouTube channel with another exciting video today with a whole lot of news concerning WWE 2K20 and even a more special announcement from Yuke's, part of the developing team of WWE 2K games. So let's get right into it here. A lot of big news coming out about WWE 2K20 recently, and I wanted to compact it in, especially with a little special thing that I'll get into talking about a little bit later on. So if you'll excuse me with the stuttering and like kind of pausing in between, I'm kind of excited about what happened, and you guys will understand why when we get to that. But the first big thing that I want to talk about concerning WWE 2K20 is that it's pretty much been revealed, except not confirmed, that 2K want to give the newest game, WWE 2K20, a big feel. Like, some people have been saying that they sort of want to do the promotional stuff, which, if you guys know from my videos last year concerning WWE 2K19, was that the whole promotional thing for WWE 2K19 was very, very weird. It was seemingly like they didn't promote the game until like the last 3 weeks of the game coming out, where normally in years before that we would at least like get an announcement sort of like around this time. Like at least we would get like the cover star confirmed around this time, and yet still no confirmation or still no thing about that. Like, we still don't know who's going to be on the cover, although still pulling for Becky Lynch to be on the cover. Although there was somebody on the last video that I did for 2K20 News who said that they would like to have Finn Balor on the cover, which would be a pretty cool thing. I would like to see like a double-sided cover in that aspect, having Finn Balor on one side and then having the Demon Finn Balor on the other. I feel like that would be pretty cool. But getting back to the topic at hand here, they said that they wanted to give it a feel sort of like their NBA Legends like commercials and stuff like that, and they said that they're pulling out a whole lot of money for their promotional material, and they're getting stars like Sting and Ric Flair and Hulk Hogan and people like that to sort of do these commercials for the game, which says to me, and there was that news that came out and that I talked about in the last video, that stars like Kurt Angle and Edge are signing like stuff for the 2K games. So we could be getting some very big like edition, or like a deluxe or super deluxe or ultimate mega deluxe edition featuring like some aspect of all these legends that are supposed to be a part of this new promotional material for WWE 2K20. So it'll be interesting to see when the first trailer or first official announcements about WWE 2K20 comes out. I'm excited that they're doing this. Like I said, 2K19's promotional thing was like very, very weird, and I really hope 2K20 is a whole lot different, but we really need something about now, because usually in years past we've had the roster reveal at SummerSlam, and we're getting pretty close to SummerSlam and we don't even have a release date, which kind of makes sense. I mean, normally we know the games probably come out like towards the end of October anyways, so that was no shocker there. But we don't even have the cover star announced. But, you know, it's good to hear that 2K and WWE are putting all this money into promoting this year's game. I really hope that they start up doing promotional stuff very, very soon, though. And speaking of 2K and their promotional tactics for the game, they may have to ramp it up this year, because Yuke's, part of the developing team that helps make those 2K games, they've actually stated that they are in interest of making a rival like WWE game. And no, I don't think they're basically saying like we want to make another wrestling game for another company. So for those of you wondering if this is going to be an AEW video game, I wouldn't exactly confirm that just yet, although that would be very cool to see. But yeah, Yuke said that they're in interest of making like a non-WWE 2K games to sort of create, competition. That's the word I was looking for. Create competition for the WWE 2K games, which really has been one of the downsides to 2K, is that there are no other wrestling games around that rival the 2K games, so they don't really have to worry about like going crazy all out, one-upping themselves. And last year was a perfect example of that, is that they didn't really release anything promotional wise until like the last couple of weeks, and still WWE 2K19 is one of the best selling, I think it might be one of the best selling 2K games to date. I don't know if, don't quote me on that, but I mean, all in all, I liked 2K19. I'm excited to see what they do with 2K20 and with a lot of the news that's been coming out lately. It seems as though it's going to be very, very fun, so who knows. But yeah, Yuke's saying that they want to make a new wrestling game. That's great. Competition is always great. It's the same thing with WWE and AEW. It's great to have competition. It's great to have different flavors for everybody to choose from. People that don't like the 2K games, they can go to this other Yuke's game that's being developed as a wrestling game. They can play Fire Pro Wrestling World. That's why WWE All-Stars was one of my favorite games that wasn't one of the 2K games or like the SVR games, was because it had its own feeling to it and it wasn't like any of the other games. So if Yuke's can make a good game here, whether it's with like AEW or Ring of Honor or New Japan or Impact Wrestling or something like that, if they make a game that people are excited for and people think is fun and people like this, and if it's people that don't really like the 2K games, if they gravitate more towards this, then hey, maybe it'll open the door for other developer companies like Insomniac or freaking Naughty Dog or something like that to make a wrestling game. You never know, but yeah, competition makes great things. It's gonna happen with WWE and AEW, and it could happen with the 2K video games and this new reported game from Yuke's. But sticking with WWE games, and this was that thing that I was very excited for. This is kind of like a low-level news piece, but it's kind of exciting for me. So recently, the WWE 2K19's like community creations thing has been down. I don't know what the heck has happened or had happened with the servers or whatever, but it was very hard to like download creations, and like for the case of this little segment and news, it was very difficult to upload images to 2K19 and like download them to make creations. But as soon as that got fixed, I was watching SmackDown and I saw AJ Kirsch, the guy that did voiceover for Buzz in WWE 2K19's My Career Mode. He was on SmackDown as sort of like a jobber with another gentleman, and they were holding these like cardboard YOLO Tag Team Championships, and I was like, you know what, that's actually pretty funny. I feel like I could recreate those in 2K19 and put them on community creations, which is exactly what I did. I uploaded some logos that I had like sort of drawn out with Pixlr, and I made the championships on there, and I was like, oh, this actually turned out pretty good. I'll put it on Twitter, maybe I'll tag AJ Kirsch in it. And I did, and lo and behold, AJ Kirsch actually retweeted it and gave me like a little shout out there. And this isn't really the first time he's done this, and I'm sure he's done this plenty of times before with other people, but you know, he's always constantly like, if I have the hashtag WWE 2K19 in any of the videos that I promote on Twitter, he'll like give it a heart or like retweet it or something like that. But this was pretty big because it led to not only AJ Kirsch retweeting about it, but WWE Games Twitter account themselves actually tweeted about it, and they put it on their Instagram story. Well, not their Instagram story, but their Instagram page, which is freaking awesome. I was not expecting any of that to happen. It was pretty cool. And then it got one step further, not only with like a whole bunch of other people leaving likes and retweeting about it, but then the WWE Games account on Twitter themselves started following me, which is pretty freaking cool if you ask me. Everybody has that feeling of like hoping like their favorite celebrity or somebody like even likes a tweet that they tweet on Twitter or even follows them on Twitter, and this was kind of like that for me, having the WWE Games Twitter account follow me on Twitter. That's very cool. I don't know if it's gonna last, you know, maybe after like a month or like a week they'll start unfollowing me, but you know, for the time being, it's very cool that WWE Games Twitter account follows me. It's very sweet, it's very cool, and hey, you know, since WWE Games follows me on Twitter, you know, if you ever need me, I live in Ohio, but you know, I could go down to Florida if you guys need me to film anything for any upcoming projects you got? I don't know if you're doing anything, but you know that my DMs are always open. You can just slide on in there. But speaking of WWE, one star that hasn't been on WWE television lately, actually they haven't been on WWE TV since WrestleMania, is Sasha Banks. Now, many people have speculated that after WrestleMania, Sasha Banks has been wanting to quit WWE. She hasn't been on WWE TV since, and she's always posting these like cryptic tweets of like her like in a darked out photo like in a wrestling ring, and many people believe like, oh, she's leaving WWE, she's going to AEW, or she's going somewhere else, she's going to New Japan, she's gonna fight Naito and stuff like this, but seemingly some ground has been made in the case of WWE to have Sasha Banks return, because she posted this image in her Instagram story, I believe it was, and many people are saying that this is her doing work for WWE 2K20, and it definitely does look like that. It looks like she may be doing work for WWE 2K20's potential Women's Revolution Showcase mode, and she's sitting down in the same style that Daniel Bryan did for his Showcase mode in WWE 2K19, where they did this like cool sit-down interview style, and they would talk with Daniel Bryan before these matches would play, and you would know some of the history along with the matches that you play. And seemingly they're doing the same thing here with Sasha Banks and whoever else is involved in this potential showcase mode, and it would make sense for Sasha Banks to be a part of this mode, considering some of her matches have been big parts of this whole women's revolution in WWE and around the world. Now, guessing what matches she's going to be here talking about, I've sort of gotten it down to 3. Now, we've already seen from a screenshot from Renee Young's Instagram account that pretty much one match has been confirmed so far, and that's Charlotte Flair versus Natalya from NXT TakeOver for the NXT Women's Championship. Now, 3 potential matches I could see Sasha Banks here for talking about would be her NXT Women's Championship match with Bayley from NXT TakeOver Brooklyn, which means that that could be confirming that we will get that reverse Rana off the top rope that I've been wanting in the WWE games ever since. My third pick would be her Hell in a Cell match with Charlotte Flair. That could be very interesting. You know, that's a lot of history there. That was the first time the women main evented a pay-per-view, and it was the first time the women were ever in a Hell in a Cell match, so I could definitely see them having that in the mode. And then WrestleMania 32, many people say that this was the true main event of that WrestleMania, I myself included, because Roman Reigns versus Triple H was kind of a snooze fest. But that would be Sasha Banks versus Charlotte versus Becky Lynch for the new WWE Women's Championship. So yeah, those are 3 matches that I think Sasha Banks could be here talking about. There's a hell of a lot more, but you know, it's cool to see that Sasha Banks, at least right now, is still working with WWE in the video games. So if Sasha Banks doesn't really return to actual in-ring competition, at least we'll still be able to see her in the video game sense, and you can still have her lose her championship in her first title defense there. So yeah, at least it's good to see Sasha Banks back in that retrospect. But yeah, Sasha Banks doing some work for 2K20, some potential matches there. Yuke's is doing a new wrestling video game that could rival the 2K games, and 2K are putting a hell of a lot more work into promoting WWE 2K20. And a little tidbit, WWE Games follows me on Twitter. A hell of a lot of news there talked about. What do you guys think of all this? Let me know in the comments section down below. And if you're interested in seeing more videos from the WrestleDude YouTube channel, just wait in a second and it'll pop up around the screen here. But thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.